Chokma, I wanted to welcome you to the Changing Winds podcast. My name is Alhanti Mali, also known as Changing Winds. Uh, if y'all are coming across this channel for and you've come across it before and you've seen videos uploaded or live streams from this channel, I did have some up and I decided to redo them. I wasn't very happy with those. Uh, for one, I was kind of going off subject for a lot of things, and also just I needed to revamp and re-understand how I was going to run this channel. Uh, I want to say also um, because I don't understand a lot of the new lingo. If I say something that's offensive, I don't mean it in any harm. Also, I'm not licensed as a doctor. I'm not licensed as anything but just a person that has life experiences. Uh, as you see in the title, I will explain that as I go on. But also, I want to let y'all know that I do have PTSD. I do have some other chronic illnesses that does get to me sometimes. I do have, uh, I'm a caretaker for my older brother, so there's things that pop in and out that um, y'all may be wondering about, but it's usually my brother. I do have a daughter that's here with me, and then my wife. Usually she's at work, so and she usually doesn't bother me when I'm live streaming. But it's usually my brother or my daughter. So if I step away or mute the mic or look kind of funny when I'm turning to talk to them, that's what's going on. Uh, also, I was raised very old school, meaning my mom was born in 1942 and then my nanny was born in 1919. I'm 40 years old, so I am a millennial, but I also act somewhat of the older generations too. So I'm mixed with that. So if you see that I'm like my daughter, she's 12. I don't even know what generation that is, but there's some things I just don't know. I don't know lingo. I don't try to. I just go with it, and then she'll tell me what it means or whatever. My son, or if I have questions, I usually ask them, or they'll just laugh at me, say, "Dad, you're too old." But anyway, that's just who I am. Uh, I don't sugarcoat a lot of things. Um, Also, I want to let y'all know that my mom had schizophrenia and other things, um, and I will explain those later on as they come available or as I come across them to talk to y'all about. Um, right now, and this is going to be ongoing too. Um, I did have my settings and stuff right where it was professional, and somehow it's all jacked up. And I had played around with doing screen sharing, and I'm still trying to figure out the whole OBS thing. And quite honestly, I don't know if I'm ever. I will eventually probably have people doing that for me. uh, but this is a man. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out where I fit in YouTube world. Um, a lot of the things that you see behind me are things that I've made or come across that's important to me or comical to me or things like that. So please understand that I'm not trying to be demeaning or anything about anybody else's culture or beliefs or anything like that. I just know where I stand on these things. And there's going to be things that come up that people will say, well, you're atheist. How do you believe in these things? Look, I'm a human. And that's all I can say is I am a human and I have life experiences that I can't explain. And that's what this first stream is about. And I will add to this and you will see where I stop and where I start adding more. Um, I want to reach out. The reason I'm doing this is I want to reach out to people that may have went through similar things as I have, or just trying to reach out. And so I used to be a very outgoing person, and life gets you, and somewhat of it changes you. Um, and it just happens. Um, I've been through things, and I've had to push through the push through, and that's all I want is somebody. If somebody finds it, you know, where I'm helping them, then that's all that matters to me. Um, but I do share the sentiment that I do genuinely try to care for anybody and everything, no matter your race, color, creed, or I will say one thing. In the past, I have said some political things that I strongly agree with. I'm not trying to demean one political party or anything like that. I am a person that believes that we should take care of each other. And the reasoning for that is because of my my inner self believes that every human, every animal, and everything that exists in the natural world is something to care about. Meaning, look, we only have one planet that we can live on as of right now. And we don't have to have special gear and we don't have to, we can, I mean, yeah, our sun does give us sun cancer, but we don't have to walk around in spacesuits and be protected from the elements all the time. Uh, so, but I'm also science based. I I love learning. I love doing. I That's just who I am. Um, and I live in modern America. I live in the South. Uh, I live in Texas. If you can't understand by the way I talk, uh, I'm born and raised here, um, and I'm really not Republican or Democrat or. I just feel like money is not everything that it seems to be. Uh, you know, Food, water, shelter. I mean, that's just how I feel about things. But I do feel that we should all take care of each other. And I don't think we're doing a very good job of that right now. I mean, yes, it's nice to have nice things, and I do have nice things, but I take care of those nice things, and I don't take them for granted because I grew up poor. I mean, dirt poor, and so excuse me, but you know, my kids are more spoiled than I was. They have way more than what I had. So and I've tried to do my best, and that's all I can do. So I want to present to you this little slideshow that I've put together, um, and it will explain some things. And I hope somebody comes across this and this helps them. So let me screen share this, and I'll I'll I mean I want to read off for you, but um, and then I'll do some talking afterwards, and then we'll wrap it up. Um, on that note, I don't really want to do a lot of editing, so more than likely I'll be more willing to just do lives because that's just me. So anyway, let me screen share this with y'all, and I will read it to y'all. Okay, so the name of this is Christian Nationalist to Native American Atheist, and that describes me. If you look over the back there, I had that flag made. It says Native American or Native American Atheist Outcast. That's me. I had that flag made. I do have a Facebook group for it. I want to eventually make that into a nonprofit or of some sort. I don't know why I had it made, but I had it made. But anyway, I'm going to go to the next slide. Okay, my English name is James. My Native American name is Alahanchi Mali, which is pronounced there for y'all. It comes from the Chickasaw tribe in which I descend from. As history says, my seventh grandfather was James Logan Colbert, and my grandmother was Minta Hoya, the daughter of the Chickasaw chief at that time. It was about 1740. Is about that time, somewhere in that area. I was given this name by a spiritual event that happened to me in my life. I had had a dream about a year before this happened to me. My aunt had asked me to ride the bus with her because we had some very heavy rain for the last few days. But as I had to be at school by 4:30 in the morning, I had to be out of school by 11:30. I had to be at work by 2 p.m. I had to provide for me and my mom. My dad had died when I was 4, so I was trying to do my part. Well, the dream played out in real life that day. All but one simple but profound event. You see, I have always known my Native American family history. My Native American names change as we age. When I was younger, mine was Little Great One. I don't know where it came from, but my whole life, family called me this. In the dream, a voice called me Little Great One. There was a, excuse me, guys. There was on a last thing that happened in real life that did not happen in the dream. The next events would not make sense until me until about 4 years ago. It was in the pandemic of 2020. It was replayed in my mind in the real life after the event from the dream happened. I know this sounds funny, but this the I need to elaborate on this. So I had an accident. I was on my way to school. My car hydroplaned. I was see that was 2000 is when that happened. I was a sophomore in high school, early sophomore. Anyway, uh, and I was driving to school, and my car hydroplaned, and I was this was the actual dream. Uh, the my car hydroplaned, everything played out the same, except for the spiritual stuff. And I didn't put that here just because I wanted to stop here and explain my dream. My dream gave me all the vision, but it didn't. The spiritual accent did not. And as I said, I was raised by my grandmother. And in the real life, um, the spiritual, like I said, I am atheist, but just because I'm atheist does not mean I do not have a spiritual side. I do have a spiritual side, and I do take it as consideration of my life. And I don't knock others for their spiritual things that happen, or they may not believe in them at all. That's fine. But I do know what happened to me. So my car was a 1990 Mazda 323 hatchback. If you do not know what that car is, go look it up. I called it my little red bomb. It was bulletproof pretty much for me, but I mean anybody else it would have nobody would have wanted to drive it. But it was my car. It was mine. Uh, and I had looked down to change the CD and put it in my CD player and put it in, and I reached down. Well, my car started doing. I felt my wheel doing this. My front wheels were bouncing off the car, and there's two lanes one way and two lanes the other way with a median in the middle. And the car the car got into the median. It was straight. I guess I hit something, and the wheels of my car did a full 90 degrees, and the car only set about maybe 5 inches off the ground. So it set really low and stuff like that. And I the luckily the car, and that's part of this story too, and I actually wrote part of it out in this, but the road caught my tires. Well, there was cars coming. I mean, I was with traffic, and I didn't think nothing of it. I think I crawled out of my window because I couldn't get my door open or something. I can't remember. But while before I did, I had looked down. I'm like, oh God. And I looked up, and there's my grandmother. She had passed away in 98. This was in 2000. And her feet were not on the ground, it was elevated. Now, people will say, oh, you're just was hallucinating, which it is what it is. I was not hallucinating. I was not drunk. I was not stoned. I was not any of those things. And I, she was elevated to where she was at head length with these other beings. And all I can say is they were dressed in white. They had gold and silver. They had wings. that's an angel to me. Two angels. I had people tell me they were Michael and Michael the archangel and some other things. I don't know. But anyway, they were there. So I like I said, and then I looked and one like a tear dropped from her eye. I saw it glistening, and it didn't hit the ground. It just hit where her feet were. So I followed it down, and then I looked back up, and they were gone. And this was before I had a pager, but I didn't have a cell phone at this time. Uh, and my aunt, like I said, she was a school bus driver, and um, she worked at the school where I went to school at. And when I so this is this next part that you see, uh, I'm gonna read it off to you, and then I'll explain it more to you. Um, a man in a blue and white Ford F-150 mid-90s model stops and says to me, "Hey, little great one, are you okay?" I replied, "Yes, sir, just a little shaken up." Mind you, I had been called this my whole life, so it was common for me to answer in this way. He said, "I know you're heading to school. Jump in and I'll give you a lift." I put left. Anyway, lift. Um, so I get in. This man was Native American, no questioning this to me. I really don't remember much of what we talked about. I just studied him. I was very calm and remembered the smell of sweet tobacco and sage. In Native American culture, these are very important. So, if any of y'all are Native American, y'all will know that in Native American culture, that those are very sacred. Um, there's also lemongrass and things like that that Native Americans have used for centuries um, as part of rituals. And the I didn't put this in, but um, he had a dream catcher on the rearview mirror, stuff like that, and he presented himself as a Native American. So I'm going to get to this part. As we pulled up to school, he handed me a card with an address on it. The words that came out of his mouth next was really unreal to me at the moment. He said, "Little great one, you will never forget who you are now or who you will become in the future. This is where Molly this is where Alahanchi Molly comes from." He had called me this and the first time I had ever heard it, and it was odd to me, but he handed me a card with an address on it. You see, my aunt was a school bus driver and she worked at the school where I was enrolled. My 0 hour teacher told her I had not showed up. Therefore, her and my mom was worried sick. But once I showed up, it was all okay. After school, I was friends with the local police force, which our town's very small, so everybody knows everybody. Um, and I asked him to drive me to my car along with get my car out of the median. Needed to get it out. So, um, as with most police officers, they are real with you. He asked me questions, and he knew the road conditions to me in the top. He basically told me I should have rode the school bus, even though. But anyway, um, so I've done explain the spiritual things to me. Let me see. Okay. Um, so the so the tow truck came and got my car and took it to the shop to have it looked over and repair anything that had been broke. It did not have anything wrong with it, and the things that were broke, I was saving money to have them repaired, and somehow they everything that was broke was fixed because I was saving up money for it, and I did not understand. So remember the paper that the Native American handed me? Well, I handed it to my police friend. He told me that I was full of shit. I said, "Have I ever lied to you or even made up any stories?" He looked at the paper and looked back at me. He told me that this address was owned by whoever it was owned by at the time, and there was nothing on the land but trees and a pond, which was true. Well, I am one of those that have to see for myself. So we go to the gate. My office friend calls the owner to unlock it for us. He comes out and asks what was going on, and I tell him my story. The man just laughed at me. I own, I've owned this land X amount of years, and all I do is just hunt on it. We showed him the paper, and he told him what the man looked like. And then again, he told me I was joking, and I've never been out. He hadn't been out there in months. And he said, "Kid, you're joking with me because, of course, he owns it." So he opened the gate. There was no tire marks, no tracks, but deer tracks. We followed those tracks. I don't know, maybe it was an hour or so. We come to a campfire. Now my police friend and my friend reaches for his gun, and so does the landowner. I was like, "There's no reason to draw y'all's guns." I told them, "Look, if there's someone out here, they're not going to hurt us." But, I do live in Texas, and a police officer is going to draw his gun if there's a campfire there that's not, well, the landowner did too. I got tired and blah, blah, blah. So I had been deconverting from Christian nationalists and all the brainwashing that had happened to me during my childhood. I will go into detail later on with that. But anyway, it was now 2020, and I really started to question how I really believe. I've always asked questions. Well, one night I was asleep, and the event of that day played back in my dream, and the Native American came to me this time in my dream. Also, the deer tracks and the campfire was there this time too. He looked up at me and says, "Alahanchi Molly, it's been a long time." I said, "Yes, it has." We talked, and I remember with our talk what was this. These are the things I remember. You have been through hell your whole life. You feel as you are weak, but you are strong. You will be tested. You will overcome. You walk as a buck, and You feed people when you are needed to. You will be as showy as a peacock. You will feel that the world is falling all around you. Don't give up. This is your time. You must show your feathers. People will doubt your power. Let them. The world needs you. You will know when your heart will become Alahanchimali. So this is when I discovered what this means. In my heart, I had already become Alahanchimali. The meaning of my name is Changing Winds. The logo you see is my soul. You see it, you know I have been there. It's my mark. I have it on my arm also. Where I go, it follows. Um, it's the same thing that's in my thumbnails and in the corner of my. Uh, this came to me as I took my journey. Um, do I have? So this is my mom's story, uh, and I will explain my mom's story. Mom had schizophrenia. She also had contracted uh, rheumatic fever when she was about 16, 17 years old. She was taken out of school when she was in fourth grade to go take care of my great grandparents in California. And when she came back, she had lost her hearing from the rheumatic fever, and then her reading level was only fourth grade before then, but it drastically did not help her her learning at all. Um, and I'm very protective of my mom. I don't talk a lot about her, but I do love her and I miss her so much. Um, but she 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 had it rough. She wasn't even supposed to have me or my brother, and there was complications. And I this is the part of the reason why I can't stand Trump. He makes fun of people with disabilities. He acts like it's no big deal, and the people, I can't stand behind it. And this is what drug me finally away for ever saying that I would ever go into another church. I just won't do it. So let me finish this and I'll read it to you. I lost I lost Mom March 2nd, 2023, and my aunt June 2nd, 2023. After Mom and aunt passed, I knew I could never stand for the evil in this world. Someone asked me, when was it time that I finally turned away from Christian nationalists? I had already turned away after Trump took office the first time. I will tell you on, like I just explained, but Easter of 2023 was when my true anger came out. I had lost Mom and took my daughter Easter egg hunting at a church, and I was going to give the pastor the benefit of the doubt. I think that spells dough, but I don't know. It's supposed to be doubt. Oh, by the way, y'all, I'm dyslexic, and when I'm typing or reading things, things may sound funny. But anyway, he was a black man in a white church, so I was about to test him. So we chatted. I chatted with him, and I processed to tell him I lost my mom and her story. I told him her age and some things about her, and he said, "Well, I'm sorry for your loss." I also, at that moment, told him about her health issues and how she had survived so much to be 81 years old. He said, "Yes, that was a miracle," until I told him she had schizophrenia. At that moment, I lost all respect for that man. I grabbed my wife and my daughter and told them I needed to go before I break that man's face. Yeah. My wife knew he had said something that did not set well with me. As soon as we got down the road a bit, I started to cry. I turned to him and told my wife and daughter, that man just said my mom was a demon possessed, and she was of the was the devil's child. At that moment, I told myself, never more will I trust any religion or person that would believe in such bullshit to tell someone that. And that's where I will leave off on my mom's story. The next part, I'll talk about my dad. So, that right there is appalling to me. My mother was not demon possessed, was not in any way, shape, form, or fashion. You see, I do understand the natural world, and I do understand medical stuff, and I do understand science stuff. If I could make a magic bullet to get rid of anything, it would be cancer and mental illness. Because it's not fun. It's not fun growing up around it. And when you don't grow up around it, you don't understand it. Yes, my my mom, my mom was so much more than just a mom to me. She made sure I was fed. She made sure I was taken care of. Um, and there will be a point in this that sorry, I'm just trying to get my mic closer so I can sit back a little. But I you just don't do that. You don't say that kind of stuff to somebody's, kid. And for one, you say this about my mom after, you just learned to say that. Sorry guys, I'm on insulin and my pump's pumping. But that's not how you do things. And it turned me away. Completely turned me away. Hang on guys. I'm trying to my mic's not sitting where it's supposed to. But yeah, you just don't do that. You don't. That's just not cool. But that's the life that I was given. I I'm lucky to have had a mom like that, and I will get into the other parts of my life that um but not today. So that's just where my life is and where it's been for the last 40 years. And see, my brother is also schizophrenic, and I take care of him every day. Don't don't ever allow anybody to demean the people you love like that. Don't stand for it. Don't stand for the hate or the mockery or those things. That stuff is not funny. It's not funny, and it's not something to just give it off and say it's the devil's, because it's not. It's like it's just not. But yeah, that's the beginning of my story. There's a lot more to it. Um, just like I said, just because I'm atheist doesn't mean I'm not spiritual. And there's atheists that will say you're not a true atheist that because you believe in spiritual stuff. Well, I've had things happen to me that's I can't explain, and neither can they. And you know, that's just I feel about things. My camera is making me look like I'm sitting so low. I'm not. There, better. But yeah, I mean, it just does not compute well with me. Uh, but yeah, it's difficult. Life isn't easy, and if anybody says it is, then I don't know where you came from. But like I said, I want to do this channel because one, I like talking, and two, I like interacting with people. And interacting doesn't always mean in person. I do have a group that I'm a Discord group that I'm in uh, that they're pretty awesome people, and but I'm trying to grow this too. I want people to be able to come and say, "Hey, I need guidance or counseling, or can you just talk to me about this and what goes on in my life?" And I want to hear it, and I hope that that's what this hope for this channel is. So anyway, guys, I am gonna hop off here, and I'll get to work on my next one. So please follow, like, subscribe, share, do all that kind of stuff. It really does make a difference. Um, and for you people out there that want to send negative things to me, it's not going to bother me. You may say stuff to me, about whatever. Those things don't make me. For one, I have control over who I allow to speak and who I don't. That's why I have chats up, because I do want to chat with you. But if you do something that's hate or anger or bitterness, then I'll block you and you can come at me somewhere else. I'm not going to pay you any more attention, that's for sure. But anyway, guys, I mean this when I say I do love every one of you. And I hope that we can build something that will turn into something great. So, anyway, guys, I will talk to y'all later. Have a good one.